The chair recognizes Ms. Greene from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chief Ortiz, for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Kagan. I appreciate the jobs that you do, as well as the men and women that work under you. They have very difficult jobs, and we are so appreciative of them. But I'm going to be very honest with both of you. After listening to all of this, I am so angry. I cannot believe the incredible failure of our federal government and to the American people. And also to the Border Patrol agents, ICE agents, the jobs that they do and how incredibly difficult their jobs are based on the failed policies that they are forced to operate under. It is absurd. I live in Georgia. My state is not a border state, but let me inform you of some of the things that we're dealing with. Here in Georgia, fentanyl-involved deaths has increased by over 230% since Biden has taken office. In my district alone, we have had fentanyl-involved deaths increase by over 350%. I can tell you right now, the policies do not work. And we are sick and tired of our young people dying, our emergency responders getting poisoned by fentanyl. This is unacceptable. Chief Ortiz, are you aware that there was an explosive device found by Border Patrol agents on January 17th in an area called No Man's Land, and there's surveillance of who put it there? And guess what? It wasn't Americans, it was cartels. Are you aware of that?
Thank you, Congresswoman, and good to see you again. I will tell you that some of this information that I receive in a confidential skiff, so I'm going to be a little hesitant of briefing what I know and what I don't know with respect to some of those, an event like that.
I understand, Chief Ortiz, but I'm not going to be confidential because I think people deserve to know. Our Border Patrol agents should not be in those type of conditions where they are at risk of being blown to pieces by the cartels, who, by the way, are criminals, and they should be treated as such. As a matter of fact, I've co-sponsored legislation to declare war on the cartels because they are definitely declaring war on us, the American people, and our Border Patrol agents, and I've had enough of it. And I know Americans have had enough of it. Mr. Kagan, are you aware of such explosive device being found by Border Patrol agents?
I am not.
Mr. Kagan, since you have to deal greatly in all the horrific drugs that are poisoning Americans every day, let's talk about kids for a little bit. We were just told this morning that kids aged 13 to 17 are being recruited by the cartels, dangerous cartels, even MS-13, and they are being used to smuggle drugs, traffic drugs into our country, having it taped across their bodies. They're also recruited because many of them have U.S. citizenship because they've come in our country, and they're used to drive and smuggle humans and drugs back and forth across our border. Can you elaborate on that?
Thank you, and good to see you as well. The cartels are very good, and transnational criminal organizations are very good at going after vulnerable populations. You see that with the immigrants that are coming up. You see that with, as you're talking about, kids. This is something that has gone on for a long time. I worked in Mexico for 4 years. So here, seeing cartels, seeing TCOs go after vulnerable children and vulnerable populations is something that definitely happens. They will go after any vulnerable population in order to move their drugs north and or move their guns and profits south.
Yes, so, but yes, Mr. Kagan, let me interrupt you for a minute. This has been a large increase in just the past 2 years and how many teenagers and even children are being used to traffic drugs. The increase is there, and it's showing that the policies are failing.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't catch the question.
I said there's been a large increase in children being used trafficking drugs into our country and being recruited by gangs, and it's just happened in the past few years, and the policies are failing. So what change needs to be made?
I don't have data on the increase in children being used. My time that I'm speaking about goes all the way back into 2007 to 2010 when I was in New Mexico. So I don't have any comment on increase or decrease. So that's not, as an investigative arm of DHS, not here to focus on.
Well, I can tell you right now, I have the statistics. Deaths of 350% in the past 2 years in my district from fentanyl. That's proof that the increase is there. And we are devastated.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be disingenuous. There is definitely increase in fentanyl coming here. There's definitely, we all have seen the increase in death in children. I was just on a panel a few months ago sitting next to 3 parents who had lost their children. It's the hardest time that I've ever had to testify in my entire life.
Then I think, you know what, I think you guys, and I'm going to be really honest with everyone, I could care less about politics at this point. All I care about is policies put in place that allow our great men and women to do their job to secure our country. And our country is not safe. And our people are being poisoned by fentanyl every single day. I cannot believe it's the #1 cause of death of people from ages 18 to 45. That is unacceptable. And I think that we need to all be honest, and who cares about who our boss is and who cares about who's in office. We need to be honest and forthcoming about the changes that need to be made to secure our country, because America is all of our home. No, it doesn't matter about Republican, Democrat, or who cares. It's everybody's home. And what I would like to see done is real frank conversation about what to do to fix this problem. Thank you very much.
I now recognize the gentlelady from Georgia, Mrs. Greene.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here today and engaging in this important discussion with us. It's a necessary discussion, and again, we are outraged and angered that our Democrat colleagues didn't see the importance of our national security and our border security, even to be important enough for them to get on an airplane and come down here and be here for this hearing. Shame on them. Shame on them for not coming and listening to you and engaging in this important discussion about how to protect our country and protect our border. During Trump's administration, the entire administration, there were approximately 2,437,856 alien encounters in that 4 years. During the Biden administration, to date, which is just over 2 years, there have been 4.7 million alien encounters just in his time as president. That is double. It has doubled in just that short amount of time. Now, under the Trump administration, there were 581,257 gotaways during 4 years. During the Biden administration, to date, it is 1.3 million gotaways. This is an incredible increase, and it is not by mistake or accident. In your opinion, each of you, what are the policy changes that have happened to contribute to this invasion of our country? Mr. Cabrera.
I think first you have the parole. We're paroling people into the United States instead of mandatory detention, mandatory removal. The talk of ending remain in Mexico and then putting it right back on a couple days later, that had some issues. Before we could send everybody back, and after Biden restarted it, we could only send certain folks back. I think those are the two biggest ones. If we continue to let people come in, they're going to continue to come in. It's just like with a kid. If you let them do certain things and you tell them no, but there's no consequence to it, they're going to continue to test those limits, and that's what we're seeing. We can tell them all day long that if you come, we'll send you back. But once we release them into the country, they call home, they put it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever they use, and more people come, because regardless of what I say or the commissioner or whoever, their brother, their sister, their cousin told them how to do and how to do it and how it's done, and so they do it.
Open door policies. Sheriff Coe.
Well, I agree 100%. Because of the lack of consequences, they just continue on. That's why we started prosecuting for criminal trespass, and we've seen it effective because we're pushing the foot traffic into another county. We're still catching them, but not as many, but we're pushing them to another county. I hate to do that, but that's the only way I can protect my county. So there has to be consequences.
That's right. Colonel McCraw.
Agreed with Agent Cabrera.
Thank you. It is my opinion, and I have co-sponsored legislation to impeach Secretary Mayorkas for his failure as Secretary of Homeland Security to do his job to protect our country, and in not doing his job to enforce policies or bring policies under the Biden administration that allow our good men and women of the Border Patrol and ICE to do their jobs. And I think that's something that should be done, definitely. But I'd like to talk to you for a second, Mr. Cabrera, because you said something that struck me, and I want to acknowledge this. You stated in your opening testimony that you told your wife that you didn't take this job for the money, because your job, you don't get paid a lot of money. Border Patrol agents don't get paid a lot of money. As a matter of fact, men and women in all law enforcement don't get paid a lot of money, but you do such an important job, and I thank you for that, and you're the right man for the job. So I just wanted to say that to you. But also, I looked it up while the discussion was going on. Secretary Mayorkas makes $200,000 a year in his job while he's failing to do his job. And I'm a business owner, and that's what I did all my life before I became a member of Congress. And I believe in accountability as well, and that's what you gentlemen just spoke of, is accountability. And I believe in accountability to people that are getting paid to do a job. And Secretary Mayorkas certainly should not get paid the big salary that he gets to put men and women in the Border Patrol, their lives in danger like they are every single day. In the hearing before this one, or actually this morning, it was revealed to us that an explosive device was found by Border Patrol on January 17th. But it didn't seem to be reported to very high levels. And I was just wondering, had you heard about an explosive device being found in January?
Absolutely not. Actually, the first I learned of it was this morning, watching the live stream in the room down the hall.
Right. And so that, to me, that's the cartels taking it to a whole different level that puts our Border Patrol men and women in extreme danger. And you mentioned, how many suicides did you say there were among Border Patrol agents?
17.
Out of 18,000?
16,000.
Okay.
Well, 19,000, 19,500, including
19
supervisors and management.
Out of 19,500, there were 17 suicides. And you said there were how many suicide under New York?
30 out of 35,000 officers, 4.
That shows the tremendous difference in stress and emotional toll on Border Patrol agents with a much higher suicide rate, and that again is devastating. Is there, what do you see could be done for Border Patrol agents to make their jobs easier, less frustrating, and for them to be able to accomplish what they need to do on a daily basis?
So if you could answer as quickly as possible, I appreciate that.
We just need to get out there, let us do our jobs the way we were trained to do it, enforce the laws as they were written, and let the law supersede the policy as opposed to the policy superseding the law.
Thank you.